Good morning, students. Here, Mrs. Neelam Jain from SKM Public School. Students, today I am going to teach you history chapter number 7, and topic of this chapter it is tribes, nomads and settled communities in India. So today you are going to learn about tribal people, Banjaras, how nomads and mobile people lived, and new castes and hierarchies. There are different kinds of societies, those who followed rules of Varna and those who didn't. Students, first of all I will tell you the meaning of tribe. Tribe, it is a social division in a traditional society consisting of families or communities linked by social, economic, religious or blood ties with a common culture and dialect, typically having a recognized leader. सो कोई भी जब कबीला होता है तो कबीले का क्या होता है, कोई मुखिया भी होता है ना उसका. सो इस चैप्टर में आप पढ़ेंगे आज अबाउट ट्राइब्स, नोमैड्स एंड सेटल्ड कम्युनिटीज़ के बारे में. सो ट्राइबल सोसाइटीज़ डिड नॉट फॉलो द सोशल रूल्स एंड रिचुअल्स. ट्राइबल सोसाइटीज़ ऑब्टेन्ड देयर लिवलीहुड फ्रॉम एग्रीकल्चर, बीइंग hunter gatherers or herders. The tribes or the tribal societies in the subcontinent did not follow the social rules and rituals prescribed by the Brahmanas. Tribal usually lived in forests, hills, deserts and places which were difficult to reach. They earned their livelihood from agriculture and made full use of natural resources of the area in which they lived. Tribal people did not keep written records and preserved rich customs and oral traditions which were passed down to each new generation. So these tribal people were found in almost every region. In Punjab, the Khokhar tribe was influential during the 13th and 14th centuries. The Lengas and Arguns, the Balochis and Gaddis, the Nagas and Ahoms, the Mundas and the Santhalas, Kolis and Birars and Bhils are some of the tribal societies. By the late 16th century, many of the Bhils had become settled agriculturists and some even zamindars. There were also Banjaras. They were the most important trader nomads. Alauddin Khalji and the Mughals used the Banjaras to transport grain to the city markets and to military campaigns. The Banjaras took their wives, children and animals along with them. They didn't travel more than 6 or 7 miles in a day. So we have already seen that there were administrative centers, temple towns as well as centers of commercial activities and craft production during medieval periods, but a different kind of societies evolved differently. Social change was not the same everywhere. In many parts of the subcontinent, the society was already divided according to the rules of Varna. These rules, as prescribed by the Brahmanas, were accepted by the rulers of large kingdoms under the Delhi Sultans and the Mughals. The hierarchy between social classes grew further. However, there were other societies as well. Many societies in the subcontinent did not follow the social rules and rituals prescribed by the Brahmanas, nor were they divided into numerous unequal classes. Such societies are often called tribes. These are called tribes. Okay. Then beyond big cities, tribal societies. In Punjab, the Khokhar tribe was very influential during the 13th and 14th centuries. Kamal Khan Gakhar of Gakhar tribe was a noble mansabdar by Emperor Akbar. In Multan and Sindh, the Langas and Arguns dominated extensive regions before they were subtle, because they were subdued by the Mughals. In the western Himalaya lived the shepherd tribe of Gaddis. Then this is picture of Ahom tribe. Ahom tribes. So for this, beyond cities, tribal societies, there were however other kinds of societies as well. Many societies in the subcontinent did not follow the social rules and rituals prescribed by the Brahmanas, nor were they divided into numerous unequal classes. Such societies are often called tribes. Okay, students. Then members of each tribe were united by kinship bonds. Many tribes obtained their livelihood from agriculture. Others were hunter-gatherers or herders. Most often they combined these activities to make full use of the natural resources of the area in which they lived. Some tribes were nomadic and moved from one place to another. A tribal group controlled land and pastures jointly and divided these amongst household according to its own rules. Many large tribes thrived in different parts of the subcontinent. They usually lived in forests, hills, deserts, and places difficult to reach. Sometimes they clashed with the more powerful caste-based societies in various ways. The tribes retained their freedom and preserved their separate culture. But the caste-based and tribal societies also depended on each other for their diverse needs. This relationship of conflict and dependence gradually caused both societies to change. Then, who were tribal people? Yes, who were tribal people? Contemporary historians and travelers give very scanty information about tribes. A few exceptions apart, tribal people did not keep written records, but they preserved rich customs and oral traditions. These were passed down to each new generation. Present day historians have started using such oral traditions to write tribal histories. Tribal people were found in almost every region of the subcontinent. The area and influence of a tribe varied at different points of time. Some powerful tribes controlled large territories. In Punjab, the Khokhar tribe was very influential during the 13th and 14th centuries. Later, the Gakharas became more important. Their chief, Kamal Khan Gakhar, was made a noble mansabdar by Emperor Akbar. In Multan and Sindh, the Langhas and Arguns dominated extensive regions before they were subdued by the Mughals. The Balochis were another large and powerful tribe in the northwest. They were divided into many smaller clans under different chiefs. In the western Himalayas lived the shepherd tribe of Gaddis. The distant northeastern part of the subcontinent too was entirely dominated by tribes, the Nagas, Ahoms, and many others. In many areas of present-day Bihar and Jharkhand, Chero chiefdoms had emerged by the 12th century. Raja Man Singh, Akbar's famous general, attacked and defeated the Cheros in 1591. A large amount of booty was taken from them, but they were not entirely subdued. Under Aurangzeb, Mughal forces captured many Chero fortresses and subjugated the tribe. The Mundas and Santals. The Mundas and Santals were among the other important tribes that lived in this region and also in Orissa and Bengal. Students, the meaning of clan. Clan it is a group of families or households claiming descent from a common ancestor. Tribal organization is often based on kinship or clan loyalties. The Maharashtra highlands and Karnataka were home to Kolis, Birars, and numerous others. Kolis also lived in many areas of Gujarat. Further south, there were large tribal populations of Koragas, Vitars, Maravars, and many others. The large tribe of Bhils was spread across western and central India. By the late 16th century, many of them had become settled agriculturists and some even zamindars. Many Bhil clans nevertheless remained hunter-gatherers. The Gonds were found in great numbers across the present-day states of Chhattisgarh, Madhya Pradesh, Maharashtra and Andhra Pradesh. Students, you will look at the map given at page number 93 in NCERT book, reader book. So how nomads and mobile people lived? Nomadic pastoralists moved for long distances with their animals. They lived on milk and other pastoral products. They also exchanged wool, ghee, etc. with settled agriculturists for grain, clothes, utensils and other products. Here, this is picture of Ahom tribe. They migrated to the Brahmaputra valley from present-day Myanmar in the 13th century. They created a new state by suppressing the older political system of Bhuyan's landlords, means landlords. During the 16th century, they annexed the kingdoms of the Chutias and of Koch Hajo and subjugated many other tribes. They know to use firearms as early as the 1530s. In 1662, the Mughals under Mir Jumla attacked the Ahom kingdom and defeated them. The Ahom state depended upon forced labor. Those forced to work for the state were called paiks. By the 17th century, the administration became quite centralized. Here you can see picture of Ahom tribe. Okay. This is picture of trader nomads, Banjaras. Students, the Banjaras were the most important trader nomads. Their caravan was called Tanda. Sultan Alauddin Khalji in chapter number 3 used the Banjaras to transport grains to the city markets. Emperor Jahangir wrote in his memoirs that the Banjaras carried grain on their bullocks from different areas and sold it in towns. They transported food grains for the Mughal army during military campaigns. With a large army, there could be 100,000 bullocks carrying grain. So the Banjaras were the most important trader nomads. Their caravan was called Tanda. Alauddin Khalji used the Banjaras to transport grain to the city markets. You can read here. Peter Mundy, an English trader who came to India during the early 17th century, has described the Banjaras. So students, at page number 95 in your NCERT book, you will read about what he has described about Banjaras. So I can read for you. In the morning, we met a tanda of Banjaras with 14,000 oxen. They were all laden with grains such as wheat and rice. These Banjaras carry their household wives and children along with them. One tanda consists of many families. Their way of life is similar to that of carriers who continuously travel from one place. They own their oxen. They are sometimes hired by merchants, but most commonly they are themselves merchants. They buy grain where it is cheaply available and carry it to places where it is dearer. महंगी, dearer मतलब महंगी, खरीदते थे कम रेट पे और बेचते थे महंगा. So from there they again reload their oxen with anything that can be profitably sold in other places. In a tanda there may be as many as 6 or 700 persons. They don't travel more than 6 or 7 miles a day, that too in the cool weather. After unloading their oxen, they turn them free to graze as there is enough land here and no one dare to forbid them. Students, you will find the answer of this question. Find out how grain is transported from villages to cities at present. In what ways is this similar or different from the ways in which the banjaras functioned? This is at page number 95 in your NCERT book. So again, banjaras, that same topic is continued. Many pastoral tribes reared and sold animals such as cattle and horses to the prosperous people. Different castes of petty peddlers also traveled from village to village. They made and sold wares such as ropes, reeds, straw matting, and coarse sacks. Sometimes mendicants acted as wandering merchants. There were castes of entertainers who performed in different towns and villages for their livelihood. Students, at page number 96, you can see figure number 4. This is bronze crocodile, Kutiakond tribe, Odisha. This is from Odisha. Then there were changing societies, new caste and hierarchies. So tribe, the Bhils are considered as the third largest, the most widely distributed tribal groups in India. The name Bhil was probably derived from the word Vilu or Bilu, where in most Dravidian languages is the word for bow. The bow has long been a characteristic weapon of the Bhil. Bow means dhanush, because the tribesmen always carry their bows and arrows with them. The Bhil tribes inhabit some of the most remote and inaccessible areas of India. There are two divisions of Bhils, the central or pure Bhils and the eastern or Rajput Bhils. The central Bhils live in the mountain regions in the states of Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and Rajasthan. They are known as the connecting link between the Gujaratis and the Rajasthanis and are one of the largest tribal communities of India. They speak Bhil, which is an Indo-Aryan language, and they speak Bhili. This is about Bhil tribe. Okay, these in the right hand side, this is picture of Bhil's people here, Bhil's tribe. And students, about Gaddi tribe, Gaddi tribe, about Gonds, Ahoms, again we will read about this in the next video. So about Santhalas tribe, Then Cheros tribe we will read in the next video. So this is presented by Mrs. Neelam Jain. Thank you students. Stay alert, stay healthy, mask yourself, take proper care. Thank you. God bless all of us.